Okay, what is up, nerds? I am Taylor. It is, I don't know, March 9th, 2022. And this is that Cranky Comic Book Review Show. I don't know, I'm not always cranky, but I needed a title, and curmudgeonly is just too damn long, and then I have to learn how to spell it, and whatever, get off my lawn. Anyways, weekly comic book review show, worst to best. Got a lot to go through, so I'm just going to dive on into it. Yeah. Spider-Verse, Verse, Spider, whatever the hell this is called. Number one. This book just gave me a headache. I don't know. It's not for me. The title alone gave me a headache. And then you get the book. Tim Seeley is very hit or miss for me, and this is definitely a miss. I don't care about SpiderGwen. If it was on my pull list, I'm like, it's a specky booky thingy. There's some first appearances here, alternate Spider-Gwens, I guess. And then there's some weird end-of-the-time shenanigans and a really strange-looking, maybe, villain. It's a hot mess. And like, lots of internal monologuing, not very well done. I just kind of hated this. I really kind of did. Next, we have Broken Eye number 1 by Martin Echevarria and Xavier. I'm going to butcher it. Look, those folks. 1970s Liverpool. No one's happy. I don't know. I can't tell if this is a supernatural book or if it's just a slice of life thing with murders and a missing hand. I don't know. Tonally, I just couldn't get this one. It's not horrible. The art's okay. It's a pretty quick read. It might go somewhere. But yeah, Broken Eye number 1, it just didn't do much for me. It really didn't. I don't know, and I just didn't care enough to like keep going with it. So I'm like, okay, no, you need a hook. If you're a first issue, and you're gonna like you have one shot at entertaining folks and at getting them to grab on, right? You have to shoot your shot, and like this is not shooting the shot. This is just kind of a boring intro, and I'm like, oh, all right, whatever. Speaking of which, I'm gonna segue. Look, I'm a pro. I'm segueing. You have one shot, right? And shoot your shot. And don't have it be a boring goddamn intro. This is fucking dull. This is really, really boring. It's Captain Carter number 1 by McKelvey and Cresta and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Look, it's the origin story of Captain Carter. And it's basically the origin story of Captain America, but British and female. And that's it. So if you know that origin story, there's nothing in here new. And this should have been like the 3rd or 4th issue where they're like flashing back to how he got here. You need to hook somebody and get something in here. The cover's cool. The character itself is kind of cool. I think the character has legs, but like it's just such a dull ass way of introducing her. It really is just not. There's nothing in here new or exciting. All right, last flight out number. Yeah, okay. Pause for a second. I know I got a lot to get through. I've had people talking in the comments below. They're like, oh, you put this ahead of this, and this ahead of this, and this ahead of this, so that's got to be better than this. We are in this chunk here of about probably 17 books, where they're all going to be kind of about the same. I just kind of ranked them somewhat arbitrarily. They all have about the same level of, like, for me. So take that for what it's worth. This is not a definitive order list necessarily. I try to rank the lows and the highs and fill it in the middle. And this is a filler in the middle. So we have Last Flight Out number 5. This book just needs to end. It had a very strong beginning. The first 2 issues are great, and now it is just dragging and dawdling, and I don't know. It better wrap up well. I don't have high expectations anymore for the ending. It had a cool premise. It had a whole cool setup where like the man that invented the space plane that gets most of humanity off of a doomed Earth is going to find his estranged daughter. It's a cool setup. And then it's just been dragging ever since. And this is another dragging one. There's only one more to go after this. And like, will they get off? Will they or won't they? I don't know if I care. I don't think I care. All right. Yeah. 7 Secrets number whatever the hell this is. 15. I keep telling myself I'm going to drop this book, and then I say this in the video. I'm like, I'm going to drop this book, and then I forget. I'm going to drop this book. We find out what the 7th secret is in here. Spoilers. And I don't know. It's a fast-paced, bright book, and it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's just there's nothing really that groundbreaking and earth-shattering. Like there's directions that happen in here. Like, oh well, that's new, I guess. But it doesn't feel earned and it doesn't feel warranted. I need to probably read this all from the start as a collection, and I think that's why I'm not dropping this because I absolutely hate it. It's Tom Taylor, and Tom Taylor can write an entertaining story, and Danielle Di Nicola, and whatever. The artist is also fine, although didn't love the art in this one. I thought it was like it felt like it was blown up to me, like drawn really small and just enlarged. I don't know, something about the scale of everything just felt off in this issue. It's all right. All right, and next, I was really hoping these to be higher. We Live the Rise of the Palladians, black and white. These are two different books. They're two number ones. They tie together, and so I'm going to talk about them together because from here on out, like it's my understanding that we have these two, and then the next issue is going to be only one version of issue number 2. I hope, because my wallet can't handle this, and I don't know if the writing can handle this. The Miranda Brothers, I really loved the first 5 issues of We Live. They took a giant world-ending story and condensed it into a simple, like, travel tale. That zigged instead of zagged, it weaved instead of bobbed. It had all these unexpected twists and turns, but at its heart, it was a pretty simple story. Here's where we're getting into, like, the world buildingness of it, and it is just a jumbly mess. Like, there's hints of overlapping, and there's hints of things between these two books coming together, and they are two different stories. It's okay. There's just none of that soul or emotion or heart that the first arc had. And, like, instead you just kind of get, like, sort of what's wrong with things. But it could have just been, like, a one paragraph, like, oh, here's what's wrong, get going. And instead you have 2 issues that are all tied together in one issue, I guess. I don't know, that are just kind of jumbly sci-fi mumbo-y jump. Yeah, I just said jumbly sci-fi mumbo jumbo. Yeah, I know. That's not how English works. It's not proper. Whatever. It's okay. I think the art actually took a step back too from the first arc. I don't know. Nothing about this really grabbed me, and I tried. I really wanted to like this. I really did, and I will keep it up because I do have faith that it's going to get better, or it's going to like at least distill down into some kind of a story. But as of right now, this was not fantastic. It wasn't even fine. It was kind of like, meh. Yeah, we're gonna do this in this order. Venom number 6. It's all right. It turns out I really don't like Brian Hitch's art on this book. It just doesn't seem to fit Venom. It's kind of like weirdly clean and thick lines, and it's okay. But it just doesn't seem to fit the story they're telling. Like, I think you need a sketchier, grimmer, grittier line and a grittier, like, pace of the story. Dylan's in the run, and also the dual writing stuff I don't dig on this book necessarily. I like when Ron B's writing it. I do not like when Al Ewing is writing it. Thankfully, this is a Ron B issue, and it's okay. Not a lot happens. It's kind of progressing the plot of Dylan ahead a little bit. But, yeah, it's fine. I mean, I don't want to talk about this one a whole lot. There's not much else to say. So, we're going to go on. All right, Moon Knight. I love Moon Knight. One of my favorite characters. I like Jed MacKay, one of my favorite Marvel writers. And yet, this early on this list, we have Moon Knight, Devil's Reign, the one-shot. Love the cover. I absolutely hated the art in this book. I think it might have been done by the person that did Campisi the Dragon Incident or a Kaiju Score. It has that feel, and it's Sabatini on the art, and I feel like I should know the name. I think it's I don't know, I couldn't tell you. It's one of those two, I think. But, like, this is a grim, dark prison story of where Moon Knight gets locked up in prison, and it's basically Rorschach from Watchmen. I'm not trapped here with you, you're trapped here with me. That's this. And then you have this weird-ass cartoony art that just doesn't fit. I mean, and the coloring doesn't fit. So, like, it's just kind of this goofy-ass art by Federico Sabatini and coloring by Lee Lowridge just wreck it. Like, this is supposed to be Moon Knight. And that just doesn't fit with the Moon Knight iterations that have been going on in the main story or in any other comic ever. That's like anime emo Batman. That is not Moon Knight. It's just... And I know this is Old Man Yelling at the Clouds, possibly, but it just... Yeah, I hated it. I truly hated the art on this. And the story itself, it was good. It was decent. It's a one-shot. I mean, it's finally McCade addressing some of the brutality of Moon Knight, and it's not horrible, but it's pretty... Like, once you get down to it, and once they're revealed at the end, you're like, yeah, all right, that's kind of predictable. Or that I should have seen that coming. So, but, like I said, cool cover. Awful. Awful interior art. All right, I need to yell at my LCS. This copy is torn to shit again. Like there's a tear in the cover, beat up. This is the second issue I've had issues. Second week I've had issues with them, and normally they're pretty good. But Devil's Reign 5 of 6. Marco Cicchetto on the art and Chip Zdarsky on the interior. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. We're in the fine section now. But this is the fine. Like, yeah, we're at the 6.0s. There's nothing about this that's that great or hasn't been done before. I mean, you get Purple Man, you get Kingpin, you get a Mad Kingpin going mad, and like the big like there's gonna be a big kind of reveal probably next issue that something happened, but like it's not that unexpected, and it's just wrapping up something that happened in the main title of Daredevil. There's no reason it should have been a giant event. Honestly, there's nothing to this. It's just another excuse for Marvel to have all these one-shot spin-offs that aren't necessary for shit and like just kind of drag shit out trying to be money grabbing. It's okay. It's Civil War. I mean, the story's been told before. It's just Kingpin's the new Kingpin of the, the war, and I mean, it's got some weird, fun moments in here, but like I don't know, nothing about it seems like that high stake, even though they're trying to make it a high stake event, and it's just it's all right. All right. Speaking of high stakes where you don't know what the hell's going on or care, we have Star Wars Crimson Reign #3. This is mostly a cover buy at this point. I dig these covers. I'm going to get the full series of connecting covers, and I'm going to sell them for a shitload on eBay or whatnot. What I like down below. Use my referral code and save $10. There you go. This is Charles Soule on the writing. I can't remember who's on the art. I'm not going to open it up to tell you because apparently there's a character who if you are following somewhere other than this Crimson Reign thing, you might know. But there's a character who's studying the Force who lost her job when Order 66 happened and all the Force users died, and it's trying to explain why nobody talks about the Force or anything anymore. And I don't know, it fell a little flat for me because you're trying to do it through these eyes of a character who's like a researcher. But, like, there's no emotional connection to this character. And, like, just kind of thrown in here. Like, I don't think near as I can tell, there's not a giant plot to this Crimson Reign thing. Like, it's supposed to be an event. It says issue 3 of this, and I don't know how issues 1, 2, and 3 tie together. Like, I don't know how this ties in, and I don't need to know how everything ties in. But there should be some, like, through thread or through plot other than, like, one character pops in. Like, oh, that's how that ties in. It's not working for me. And the actual story itself is okay. It's not awful. But it's not that interesting, and it's not that groundbreaking. It's not anything. So, all right. Next, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, number whatever the hell 5. This is the last issue of this, and it's a solid enough-ish wrap up. The art, I still kind of lost me a bit by Balam, and the characters. It's just this is a lighthearted story, and it's a lighthearted ending, and it's fine. It's just not. There's nothing spectacular about it, honestly. You got introduced to Kate's sister in issue 1 or 2, and then like it's just kind of been, it's decent. And maybe I'm just having an off week of reading shit, or maybe just burned out on some of it. But like, let me know in the comments if you read this and love it, because I think it was okay, but I don't love it by any means. I don't hate it. I dig the cover again, but it's just kind of, I don't know. The story's done, and after that, I'm like, that's done. Next we have, I'm gonna do this okay, sorry, have it confirming my order, and again, none of this is set in stone, take it for what it's worth. Little Monsters #1 by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. This is solid, it's fine, it's really light on story. Lemire's had this thing lately where like he's really kind of stepping back and letting his art do this storytelling, or letting the artist do the storytelling, and not having a lot of actual story in there. And it sometimes works, but this is probably one of those that's going to read better as a collection at the end of it all. The idea is like these are little monster kids in an abandoned town, and they're bored. Because like whoever bit them and turned them into vampires, that's kind of the idea, or they're hinting at, it disappeared 100 years ago, and they've been left to their own devices, and they eat rats and play tag all day long. That's it. That's the plot. There's not much else to it. I love Dustin's art in here. I love the black and white sketchiness with a little bit of duotone and a little hints of color in it. I think it's great. It's not his watercolory stuff that he does on the covers and that he did in Descender and Ascender, but I dug it. It's just there's not a lot not to bite your teeth into here. It's get it, bite your teeth. Oh, vampires. Oh, look at that. I made a jokey joke. Oh, look at that. I'm a goddamn witty son of a bitch. I didn't plan that. It just kind of slipped out. It's all right. Just not much there. Okay. Yeah, I like this one better than I thought I would, so we're going to put it here. I got the troll cover because the kids are going to hate it. Look at that. Look at. Do you feel enraged? Do you want to scratch out your Punisher tattoo and no longer support the police? Whatever. It's Punisher #1. You learn why the Punisher sort of has this going on, and you learn what's going on with him in the hand, and it all kind of gets basically revealed in this issue. It's decent. The art's cool. Lots of violence, a little bit of over-toppiness. It's not bad at all. I don't normally care about the Punisher. I still don't know if I do. I kind of picked this up, just honestly. I was like, well, whatever. It's a #1. I'll give it a shot. I'll probably pick up #2 at least to see it. So it's gotten me hooked that much, which is saying something because I wasn't expecting to get that far down the line with this. You learn, you just, like, without spoiling it, you kind of get an idea what the Punisher is up to or what the hand is up to. Maybe that's more accurate. So, it's not bad. Not bad. All right, how many do we have left? We got a couple left. All right, yeah. Next, Han, Solo, and Chewbacca #1. I don't think they quite covered Han's likeness in that painting. Still pretty cool painting. This is not bad, honestly. This is by Mark Guggenheim. I think he's done something else. He did something else on this week's list, I think. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't. Han gets hired for a caper before he throws it in carbonite, and has to go back to wherever he's from. Corsica, Corolla, Toyota, COVID-19. That planet from Solo, the movie that was boring. He's there, and someone's chasing after him, and he runs into somebody. That's, sorry for the minor spoilers. There's 2 first appearances in here. You probably want to grab this if you're specking. I think they captured the tone of Han fairly well, and I think it has the potential to be decent. It's not bad. It's not fantastic, but a lot of these Star Wars books aren't fantastic. And so this is, well, it's good. It's not part of that Crimson Reign thing, so that's nice. And if you want to spec on some stuff, you could probably do worse than this one. You're kind of wondering what's true in here and what's not. I'll say that. At least I was. So, all right. Sad Thor no more. Well, not really. This is Thor #23. It's the end of the God of Hammers. The shattering conclusion. Oh, that's a spoiler if you read this. Sorry. It's fairly predictable. It's solid enough. I do like the fact that Thor gets a couple badass moments in here and wraps it all up. The setup didn't. It's a usual Donny Cates thing. I don't think the setup and the payoff isn't paid off. There's much more setup than gets paid off in here, and it's decent. I like Nick Klein's art, although he has made Thor look kind of sad and a little cartoony, which he wasn't doing in the first couple issues of this book. It's not. Yeah, it's good. It's more entertaining than Thor was for the previous 6 issues. That was just kind of a slog to get through, where you're kind of lost in the direction. This at least seems like it has a direction again, and I'm down for it. Nothing. It's kind of tropey what happens in here a little bit, at least at the end, and it's nothing earth shattering, but there's shattering. Yeah, clever. Strange Academy, #17. I like this book. I've liked all of these issues. I like this one. This is the second to last issue, the penultimate issue before it disappears forever. No, actually, before the first semester is over, I guess, and they go on break, which is okay, because Humberto Ramos has been drawing all of these, and I'm kind of amazed he hasn't had a fill-in artist, because he's not super fast. And Scotty Young, and this is the wrap-up to this arc is going to wrap up next week or whatever. You get angst, you get teenage angst, you get villainy, you get heroes, you get drama, you get classroomy goodness, you get shenanigans. I like the tone of the book. I like the story. I'm down for it, and this is another solid issue. It's been solid from the get-go. All right, a little bit tonally different now. We have Red Room, Trigger Warnings by Ed Piskar. This is the second arc, and I not really arc because each issue is standalone. And so he did 4 issues of Red Room, the Dark Web, I think, and then now this is Red Room Trigger Warnings. This is kind of interesting. It does tie back into the first issue of the last arc, or the very first issue of Red Room is another way to phrase it. And it's gorgeous and gross and like fun all at the same time. The idea is that like there's this red room that where people pay like Bitcoin on the dark web to like watch torture porn and like death and cruelty and all this kind of really depraved stuff. And like this touches on one of the stars and how it affects his family and also what's going on in there. And like the top line has one story, like through story. The middle line has another, and then the bottom line all the way across the entire book has a third. It's an interesting storytelling device. It is great if you're down for this kind of thing. It is gory. It is not for everybody, and it should come with a trigger warning probably. But I dug it. I like that. And then on almost the opposite end of the spectrum, which probably could be a G-rated kids book mostly. I mean, there's some death in here, but like some probably not. But we have Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 9. I've not been reading this title, but this tied into the Nightwing issue from last week or the week before or whatever the hell. And it's the same creative team as Nightwing. So you get Bruno Redondo on the art, which really is great. And this wraps up the crossover, the 2-part crossover of who's killing all these super folks in Bloodhaven. And this is told from the stories of Jonathan Kent as opposed to Nightwing. And you learn sort of like the mentor-mentee relationship here of what's going on, and like, you know, how Nightwing is sort of the mentor to Jonathan Kent, and like you learn how like it's his turn to sort of like wean in the next generation of superheroes and like help them grow and not be the cruel dad that Batman was, like, you know, not be the bad dad, to break that cycle. And it's I dug it. I came very close to being book of the week, and it probably maybe should be, but we'll see. So if you're down, if you've been reading Nightwing, pick this one up. I've not been reading the Superman. I don't know if I probably won't still pick it up. I don't care that much about the Superman title. But last and my book of the week is King of Spies number 4. This wraps up King of Spies. It is an ending. It is not a setup for a sequel. It is not a oh, here, this is going to happen in the next arc. This is the end of this book. And it goes out with a bang. It's a definitive ending. And basically, King of Spies is about this spy, like an old James Bond who's dying of cancer, and wants to do what he sees as like finally do right in the world. And so he's going around and killing all these politicians and world leaders and dealers and like all what he sees as the true evil in the world, as opposed to like what he's been sent to do for his entire career, which is whatever the government says. So he's going after possibly his handlers, possibly whoever, and whoever gets in his way, he's just killing. And they also learned that like he's been a bad dad. Like bad dad, that's this week's theme. And so he's having to deal with the consequences of that as well. I love Matteo Scalera's art. I'm big fan, and I like this is a great wrap up to this. I dug it. It's not unexpected necessarily, and it's not super different from what you'd think was going to happen, although there's a bit in there that I was a little surprised by, thankfully. And yeah, it's not necessarily the greatest book ever. I don't think there was a greatest book ever this week. I think this was an okay week, lots of titles, and this is the best of the okays, if that makes sense. The 3 that are probably going to could be in contention are probably these 3. This one might be up there as well. So like, yeah, the listing, you can shift it however your taste go. But that's what you have. That's what I read this week. That's it. This is 20 books, I think, and I am tired. I mean, go have a sandwich. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, bell, whatever, notification button, bell, whatever. It means a lot, and it helps the algorithm. I think if you've watched this far, and, you know, if you want to buy any merch, it's all available at taylorwinder.com. I have a couple new shirts up there. I'll have more dropping probably in the next week or so. And if you ever see some products that you want me to make, let me know. Hit me in the comments down below, or hit me on Instagram. Follow me on Whatnot. I do sales on Friday nights. That'll be expanding. If you've never bought comics on there, you can use my coupon code thingy, referral code thingy, and get $10 free. So you don't have to spend it on me. Just go say, hey, here's $10. I'm going to buy a comic. That would help too. It all helps, people. It all helps. I'm on the road to 1,000 followers. I'm going to give away a bunch of crap when I get to 1,000. And, you know, we're getting there. Slowly. Chugging. Churning. Plodding along. But yeah, I don't know. Don't be a dick even if you read 20 books and you're kind of tired. See ya.